All right, folks, so we just finished applying the denoise filter to the sound file, and we like the result that we have gotten. So let's go ahead and let's add some music to this project. We're going to toggle back over into the multi-track view. Let's go ahead and import that music file. Here it is. Let's bring that over here into the project bin. Let's click and drag that over here to the track underneath the principal narration. All right, and what we're going to do here, first things first, is we're going to take our narration and we're going to pull it along a little bit further into the timeline, right? And that is because the music, in addition to complementing the tone of your work, y'all, it should provide a functional purpose in the form of audible cues, letting the listener know, when the podcast has begun and also when it has ended. So typically, you want to have your podcast start with the music at first, and then you get into the actual dialogue. So let's go ahead and see what this sounds like. Okay, so yeah, does not sound great, all right? And that is because the main audio file, y'all, it's, for all intents and purposes, it is competing with the music file here. So what you have to do in order to incorporate your music and to make sure that your work flows smoothly and to make sure that this is what the audience primarily hears is you have to set a pecking order for your audio, all right? The thing is, Adobe Audition, as great as it is, y'all, it does not know what this audio file is versus this one, all right? It can't make that it can't make that distinction. So you have to be the one to do it. And you're going to do that by doing what's called tagging. So what we're going to do here is we've got our sound file up here selected. Over here in the Essential Sound panel, we're going to go ahead and click to add a tag to that. You can see that we have added the descriptor up there, and there's a small tag down here. And what we have essentially done is we've just told Adobe Audition, hey, this is dialogue. All right, so again, we have to identify what it is for the program to do what it does. Down here, we're going to do the same thing. Let's select that sound file and let's tag it as music. Again, you've got the description up here. You've got the tag down there. All right. Now, here's the thing. If you play these back, we're still going to run into the issue of both sound files playing at the same time. All right. So we still need to figure out exactly what to do there. And what we're going to do is we're going to do what's called ducking. So we have got the music file selected over here on the Essential Sound panel. You may have to scroll around to look for it, but you're going to look for the word ducking right here, all right? And we are going to go ahead and we're going to click that box next to it. All right, and this is going to auto duck our work. We can see here that the yellow line right there, which shows the volume of the sound file, it has changed from a solid line to a dotted one, letting us know that it is now open for editing. All right, so it is at full volume here, and then it lowers noticeably when the narration has begun. Now, if we scroll down a little bit further, there are various sliders that you can use here to adjust the ducking of your work. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make this as simple for you as I can. Y'all go ahead and set the sensitivity to high. That way it is reacting to as much of the sound file as possible. That way you don't have any of those moments where, the music is spiking up. You want to have it nice and consistent throughout your work. And you also want to have the fade duration turned to slow, all right? So the first and the third slider, go ahead and have those placed more significantly to the right. The duck amount, that is just determining the decibel level that you want to reduce your work by. And this, y'all, it is going to be entirely dependent upon the type of music file that you have included. If you've got a music file that is a little bit more lively than what I have right here, you're probably going to want to duck it more significantly. All right, so this is something that you just have to mess around with. It is touch and go. And down here, the final slider for fade position, go ahead and have this one, y'all, placed over to the left to the outside. That way, the fade is going to occur slightly before your principal narration. So that's going to create a nice, smooth transition going from your full volume to your modified volume. All right? So one more time. First and third sliders, almost all the way over to the right. Bottom slider all the way over to the left. Duck amount, that is entirely up to you, and and dependent upon what type of music you are including. And of course, you can tell Adobe Audition what you want to duck this sound file against. So in our case, it is ducked against the dialogue. If we include on this third track right here a sound effect of some kind, we can choose to whatever we want to duck it against there as well. All right. Now, in most cases, the auto ducking, y'all, it's going to give you exactly what you are looking for as far as sound quality is concerned. Let's go ahead and play this back. This should sound, in theory, much better. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to do the trimming. All right, and you can see here, of course, the ducking has followed it as I perform the trimming function there. Let's go ahead and play it, and let's see how that sounds now.
Now, while our knowledge of Audition is going to be entry level, one thing...
Okay, so that sounds significantly better. Now, I might adjust the amount that I have ducked it by, only because the music almost disappears when I'm speaking. You do want your music to maintain some kind of a presence throughout your work. Again, you just don't want it to overtake your actual narration. All right, but that does sound much better. So again, auto ducking, most of the time, it's going to do exactly what you need it to do. Now, let's say that you get close to where you want to go with the auto ducking, but you want to try and customize your music a little bit more. You want to try and give it a little bit more of a personal touch. Let's go ahead and do this. If we scroll down a little bit further past those sliders that we were using before, you're going to see here a box next to the words monitor clip changes. Go ahead, pay attention to this line right here and see what happens when I click off of that box. It's changed back to a solid line, but you can see here we've got these small little diamonds at each one of the corners. Those are called keyframes. And a keyframe, y'all, is an animation graphic that you can use to customize a digital asset. So it's very easy. We just place our cursor over one of those keyframes, and if you click it, you can drag it, and you can do whatever you want with it. Okay? Now, the other thing that you can do is you can try to add keyframes of your own. And if you click anywhere on the line where there is not already a keyframe, well, Adobe Audition is going to go ahead and place one there for you. So let's say that for dramatic effect, we want the music to rise at this point. I place 4 keyframes. I just have to pull each one of them up.
As one of my former professors is fond of saying, until you actually sit down to do the editing, everything you've put together is just one unfulfilled promise.
Okay. Not that I would actually do that, because in that case, it actually is overtaking my main narration. But again, this is for any moments when you want to add a little bit of extra creative flair. Like if there's a moment in your podcast when you want the music to rise sharply to signify some kind of dramatic emphasis, this is the way to do it. Or you can use it like I used it here to try and create a little bit of a longer transition as far as the change in volume is concerned. All right, so you can really do whatever you want with these keyframes. So again, click and drag the ones that are already there, or add new keyframes of your own. And the good news, of course, is that, again, because Adobe Audition is such a forgiving program, if you decide that you've done too much with the keyframes and you really just want to go back to the settings that you specified earlier, it's very easy to do. Y'all just click back on that box next to Monitor Clip Changes. It's going to take you back to the auto duct setting, and it's going to keep the settings that you specified earlier. So you haven't lost any of your work. You don't have to start over. This is just walking back that customization that you did a moment ago. So you can let Adobe Audition do the heavy lifting for you, or you can go in there and you can try and make your audio sound the way that you personally want it to sound. Either option is perfectly fine.